Assalamu alaikum everyone. How are you guys? So we are here present with our third meeting on human resource management, and today we are going to talk about total reward and compensation philosophies. It's the chapter number 3 of your book. So coming back to the main point. Okay, ji, I am Masroor Soomro, faculty for human resource management at Sukkur University, and this lecture is particularly intended for the students of MBA, BBA, and MS PhD deficiency courses of HRL. Okay, ji. Moving forward, so what we are going to talk about today is basically the compensation management or total reward policies practiced in all over the world in various different organizations. Doesn't matter small or big. Today we shall be talking about various different things, but to be more to be more specific, so as you know, the compensation is basically a combination of three different things. One is the base pay, and base pay along with the variable pay. When we are talking about variable pay includes incentives and benefits and the pay for performance. Okay, the concepts like pay for performance or knowledge based pay or skill based pay. We shall be talking about various different approaches to the compensation. We shall also be talking about what are the various strategic objectives behind every compensation management systems in the organization. Okay, what are the traditional and knowledge based or competency based or pay for performance? These days we are practicing pay for performance strategy of compensation. So we shall be talking about it. We shall be talking about entitlement and pay for performances. These are the two different philosophies that are practiced around the world these days. Okay, the traditional, typical old Satya system organizations where the sole proprietors became the big business tycoons. Now they have their own strategies, but still their mentality is the same as it was long time ago. The entitlement, if you are senior, therefore if you have experience, so you shall be paid highest. But nowadays there is another school of thought that is actually negating such kind of thought. The people are there who are saying that people or an employee should be paid for his performance, his or her performance. So let's, and apart from all these things, we have various different issues that whenever we are going to design compensation plans or competent or compensation system for an organization, you will face various different issues whereby you have to design such a system that should be above the market, below the market, or it should lag the market. So what kind of organization you are in, working in, and what kind of the strategy of that organization or that owner of the organization has in his mind. You have to think about the organization, you have to think about the survival of the organization, employees, and yourself. So let's proceed. Okay, I have divided this lecture into three different parts. So in the first part, we shall be talking about all these things. And the second part, we shall be talking about global approaches towards compensation. So moving forward, so as usual, as always, we define compensation. What is compensation? What is total reward? What is the nature of total reward? So the first slide always talks about that it can be monetary, it can be non-monetary reward provided to attract, motivate, and retain. As usual, as you guys know, the basic three functions of HR is to attract, motivate, and retain. And okay, one more thing here, that compensation, most of the time there are various different schools of thought who think that compensation is a world's largest or biggest motivator that exists in the world. Some says no, it's not like that. However, in compensation, you being the HR person, you are going to ensure that this school of thought is good. They are absolutely right. Whatever they are saying, the world is materialistic. People are materialistic. In order to meet the material need of the people organization in compensation, Whenever we are talking about compensation, we are not talking about the well-being of the employee. We are talking about the well-being of the organization. And how we are going to ensure the well-being of the organization? We are going to attract the most talented people towards organization. Okay. And once we have been successful in motivating, in attracting, I'm sorry, in attracting the talented employees to our organization, the second most important function of HR, or the second most important duty of the compensation section of the HR department, is to keep them motivated. And how you are going to keep them motivated? Obviously, you are going to offer them various different incentives. You are going to keep them motivated with various different kinds of benefits. You are going to allow them, you are going to track them. You have to keep them motivated by various different kinds of options. Stock options are there. You have various different allowances that are available with them. You have to provide them. Okay, compensation is the one, and the one of the most strongest weapon that actually helps you retain the talented employees in your organization. So total reward actually talks about both monetary and non-monetary benefits or rewards that actually help an organization in attracting, motivating, and retaining the employees. The basic three functions of HR, that is attract, motivate, and retain. Moving forward. Now, what are the various strategic objectives of any reward system in any organization? So the very first thing is the legal requirement. Is the law. Every organization has to abide by the rules and regulations of the labor code or labor law. There are certain base wage rate, there are certain base requirements that every organization has to abide by. The legal compliance is absolutely necessary, and every organization has to follow the law and regulations of every country wherever you are actually having your business. Therefore, you have to abide by those rules and regulations of that specific country. The second thing is the cost effectiveness. Okay, you being the manager compensation, your up the prime job or the most important duty towards organization, it's being cost effective. Whatever benefit you are actually providing, whatever allowances you are actually giving towards offering towards your employees, you have to ensure these benefits are cost effective. If you are spending $10,000 or you are spending 10,000 rupees on an employee, make sure you actually get the work done of at least 20 or 30,000 in return from an employee. You need to ensure that there should be a cost benefit analysis whenever you are offering and anything towards your employees. Okay, the third thing is the strategic objective of reward systems to ensure internal equity. One, what is the external equity? You have to meet the requirement of the market. Your compensation plans should be market compatible. It should meet the individual equity as well. You need to develop such kind of compensation plans that actually attracts the employee. It should meet the requirements of an employee. Go for pay surveys. Go and ask your employers what kind of benefits they actually want. Modified, customized your plans as per the needs of your own employee. So individual need, you have to keep in mind what is the individual need, what kind of needs, what kinds of packages, what kinds of allowances employees want these days, what kind of allowances are actual other organizations are offering. Okay, you have to ensure the internal as well. You have to ensure what kind of internal pay compensation policy exists. Okay, third point, fourth point is the performance enhancement. Obviously, ultimately, we want our employees to be motivated so that they can enhance their performance, so that they can give their 100% for the organizational success. Obviously, and compensation had been a very much good tool in enhancing the performance of any employee. Performance recognition in talent management is another thing. Once, in order to recognize anybody's talent, you can reward an employee's success or talent by rewarding him monetarily or non-monetarily. There are the both segments that are actually involved in compensation. These are the two different tools that you can use. You can identify the talent, you can recognize an employee's performance by giving him a reward. It can be monetary, it can be non-monetary. Okay, enhanced recruitment, involvement, and retention. Okay, the performance, sorry, when we are talking about compensation, it actually helps an organization in attracting the most talented employees. Those who want good compensation plans, those who want handsome salaries, certainly they will be get attracted by looking at your compensation policies, by looking at your pay systems, what kind of pay systems you actually recognize, what kind of talent you actually recognize. People will be involved if you will give them incentives, if you give them benefits, if you will have market, if you have profit sharing policies, if you have benefit sharing policies, people will involve themselves. They will show organizational citizenship. They will show the commitment towards organizational goals and objectives. And obviously, ultimately, it will help you in retaining the good, competent employees. These are the basic objectives, strategic objectives of any reward system in any organization. Coming towards the compensation approaches, okay, we have one traditional approach and another that is actually practiced these days is the total reward approach. Now, what do you mean by traditional approach? Okay, you will find this traditional approach in government organizations, one. Okay, wherever you will have employee security policies implemented, you will have this traditional approach. All those old minded people, conservative minded people, they have these traditional approaches. And these days, the modern approach is the total reward approach. Now, let's explore, let's identify what's the difference between the two approaches. Okay, traditional approach basically propagates the compensation is the primary best pay that can be 70% of your salary, that can be 50% or 60% of your salary. Bonuses are only for the executives, not for the subordinates. So only officers can have this entitlement. Fixed benefits are tenured, are tied with the long tenures. If you are a long-term employee, you have been working with our organization for last 5 years or 10 years, you will be entitled for the benefits, the fixed benefits. For example, the car. Uh, there are different kinds of cars. For every organization, for every different designation, you will have different kind of a car. Is by the power of the horse, is by the power of the car. So if you are a junior manager, you will get a Cultus. If you are a senior manager, you might get a good Swift or Wits, or you might get a Toyota Corolla, GLI or XLI, depending upon the company policy. The pay grade progression is based on the organizational progress. Promotions, as you will get promoted to a higher senior level or higher senior scales, your pay grades will obviously improve. So there is no concept of pay for performance. If you are performing well, if you are performing bad, doesn't matter. If you are even performing bad, you will get the promotion and you will get the pay progression as well. One organization wide pay plan for all employees. You have only one organization wide pay plan. Everybody will get, if I am announcing the 10% increment, that means 10% increment for every employee of the organization. If I am announcing a bonus, that means every employee will get the bonus. So this is the traditional approach. However, on the contrary, we have most efficient and most reliable approach these days that is actually practiced in modern organizations, especially in European countries. And these days, we are actually practicing in Pakistan as well, especially those organizations that are private organizations that actually talks about total reward approach. The variable pay is the word shows variable. It varies from person to person. It varies from designation to designation. It is a variable pay, is the pay based on your performance. Okay, annual and long-term incentive provided to all the employees. Okay, is we saw that bonuses were only for the executives in traditional approach. On the contrary, in total reward approach, we have seen it, we have witnessed it that incentives, long-term and short-term or annual benefits are for all the employees. All employees will get these benefits. Flexible and portable benefits. Okay, what do you mean by flexible or portable? Okay, you can actually contribute into your benefits as well. Say for instance, if we are actually having a provident fund policy, and we have seen that what happens in provident fund, 50% of the provident fund amount is actually contributed by you and 50% is contributed from the organization. But if you want to make this plan more robust, so you want to actually contribute into your provident fund more is normal. Say for instance, if my salary is $100,000 and I generally my organization gets around 4,000 or 5,000 from a salary from a provident fund, and same equal amount is actually contributed into the same amount and it is invested somewhere, and I get a compounding interest over a longer period of time on the interest on the prime amount. But I want my organization that I want to customize it, I want to make it flexible for me, and I want to contribute in this provident fund. I don't want to contribute 5,000, but I want to contribute 10,000 into this provident fund policy. So it can be possible. So it depends. If your organization actually practice total reward approach and they have this policy, then they will certainly give you such a kind of offer. Or then another thing is the portability of the benefit. Say for instance, I am working in Sukkur University, and day after and couple of years I had an opportunity to work somewhere else. Therefore, I don't want to actually discontinue my current benefits. So I actually want whatever my compensation plans are, whatever my provident funds are, whatever wherever my benefits are invested, I want to carry them as they are in another company in which I am getting my new job, and they will be applied at the same pace as they are working at this moment. So such kind of benefits are also available in total reward approach. The only condition is whether your organization is actually practicing total reward or not. Knowledge based broadbands. Okay, ji, we have these pay plan or pay grades. If you are having a degree, if you are requiring a certification, you will get the pay for that specific degree. If you have any kind of certification, if you had any kind of training, and this training is going to actually contribute in organization goals and objectives, it is going to help us, it is aligned with the needs of the organization, then we are going to pay you for that specific training or course or degree or certification, whatever the case is. Multiple pay plan consider job, families, locations, and business units. Multiple pay plans are there. Consider job, family, location, wherever you go, in whichever units or business units you work. We have different pay plans for every organization. These plans are customized, and these plans can vary from organization to organization, business unit to business unit, and from person to person as well. Moving forward, total reward components. Okay, there are basically two components, as I have already told you, the incentives and benefits. So when we are talking about compensation, the base pay depends. If you are a hourly wage rate employee or you are a salaried regularizer or permanent employee for an organization, so base pay for you would be either wages or either salaries. If you are permanent and regular employee, certainly you are going to get salaries. And if you are a labor, a subordinate, so you will be paid in wages, in daily wages or weekly wages. The another part of the compensation is the variable pay that includes what bonuses. These bonuses are yearly, semi-annually, quarterly, depends what kind of policy your company has. Incentives and stock options. Some organizations actually offer its employees to purchase stocks, purchase because purchasing stocks actually gave you a sense of ownership. Moving forward, the benefits. Okay, what kind of benefits we are talking about? Health or medical insurances. Okay, there is a difference between health and medical insurance. Health insurance is basically related to your normal OPD dealing insurance. If you are having certain normal kind of active, normal medical treatment going on, and you spend around 10,000 to 20,000 on your normal routine medicines, you will have the health insurance and you will be deducted a certain amount from a meager, a minor amount from your salary for your health insurance. And the medical insurance is or for the huge or very expensive surgeries involved. So it actually covers around 50 lakhs or 15 lakhs or to 20 lakhs, depends what kind of insurance policy your company has. Life and disability insurance, okay, mostly every organization offers it, especially if you are working in any kind of manufacturing or production facility, if you are working in mining or construction industry, so company will offer you life insurance and disability insurances. These are the benefits. Paid time offs, okay, you are actually paid for the time off you take from salary, or the leaves that you actually take, you are actually paid for those leaves as well. Okay, retirement and pension plans are also comes under what EOBI plans, provident funds, annuities, gratuities, all these benefits comes under this component of the total reward. Educational assistance, OKG, there are certain organizations that actually helps their employees to get their career advancement by achieving various degrees, by achieving educational, so organization will give you assistance if you want to go for studies, if you want to continue your studies, work family support. Okay, there are certain companies that actually help work family support, will support your family life as well if you are having certain problems at your families. Okay, then comes performance and talent management. Performance appraisals are always related with your performance and increments in your salaries. So your increments are also decided based on the performance. Okay, the goal setting, we actually set your goals as per your performance, and we set compensation as per your goals. How hard goals you are having and how hard or how good salary or compensation or benefit or incentive should be attached to that goal setting. Training, human resources are also related to the total reward, comes under total reward, because trainings are the part of the motivation. They actually helps an employee in attracting and motivating and retaining. Human resource development, we are actually thinking about your succession planning, your career planning. Therefore, it is also is a kind of a reward for an employee if we are thinking about your job enrichment, if we are thinking about your job enlargement, if we are thinking you for succession planning, you if we are doing career planning, we are actually rewarding your talent. We think that you can lead this company in future times, therefore we are spending on you. Therefore, this is spend these expenses or these kinds of educational assistance provided to you are basically the part of the total reward. So these are the basic three components of the compensation. Moving forward towards the continuum of the compensation philosophies, there are two philosophies. One philosophy is for the traditional approach, and another philosophy is for the total reward approach that is actually practiced these days in every organization. Okay, entitlements are for the government organizations. Entitlements are for those old traditional organizations where you will have centralized organizations, centralization. So seniority is the best of every compensation there in those traditional organizations. So seniority based compensation. If you will grow older, if you will have experience, if you have been working for my company for last 2 or 3 years, you will get paid for your seniority. Across the board raises, if I am announcing 10% increment in every employee's salary, so that means it's across the board. It will apply on every employee of the organization. Doesn't matter he is subordinate or he is a top management employee. Pay scale increase annually. So annually you will get increment in your best pay. So annually you will get raises. Compensation industry comparisons of compensation only. We actually compare our company is for the industry, what kind of pay systems are practiced in different industries. We don't take any initiatives. We don't plan our own very own policies and procedures related to the compensation. We only follow the industry. Holiday bonuses are given to all employees if you have the policy of giving holidays. If not, so certainly it will not be given to either of the employees. Then the second approach is the performance approach. Performance approach talks about no raise for the length of your service or the job tenure. Doesn't matter if you have been working for last 10 years or last 50 years. If you are not performing, you are not going to get any raises or you are not going to get paid for your seniority. If you are not good for me, then why should I pay you? Rather, I will thinking about kicking you out of my company. Market adjustments pay requirement. Okay, the market dictates my pay structures. If market demands that I should raise the salary of my employee, if there is recession in the market and I think that employees should be paid more, we will pay more. Broader industry comparisons. We don't just look at 2 or 3 companies. We think about bigger companies. We see bigger comparison with bigger companies, and we will adjust your pays and your salaries. Pays are always linked to the performance. If you are performing, you will get rewarded. If you are not performing, you will get kicked out of the company. Okay, now we are here to talk about the various different kinds of issues. Generally, we have 6 different kinds of issues whenever we are designing a compensation system. The first kind of compensation issues that we have, that is of fairness and equity. Now, what do you mean by fairness and equity? Okay, when we are talking about external equity means we are paying whatever we are paying to our employees is equitable to the industry comparison. We are paying market compatible. We are paying our employees as the market is paying to other employees in other organizations. Therefore, external equity is there. Okay, when we are talking about fairness, we are actually talking about internal equity. Internal equity is get the procedural justice. The procedure is followed whenever we are actually going to reward an employee. If somebody lacks something, if some documents are missing, if anything is missing, that means, and we are rewarding that inequity, internal equity, then we are actually not being fair towards our employees. Then comes the distributive justice. Distributive justice talks about whoever works hard will get paid hard. If you're not working hard, you are not going to get paid high. So distribution of the work, if you are working very much, you have been given every task. If there are 50 projects, and out of these 50 projects you single-handedly handle 10 projects, therefore you should be paid more as compared to any other employees. But at the end of the year, if you are going to get, if you are only going to get meet expectations, then there is a distribution inequality. There should be equity in internal procedures, and distribution of the reward as well. Then comes another issue, that is the pay secrecy and openness. Generally, in into subcontinent, we have this perception of नजर लग जाएगी, किसी को अपनी सैलरी मत बताया करो, नजर लग जाती है. So such kind of things actually are practiced in every organization in every country around the world. So pay secrecy is important. We generally don't open the pay secrets to the market. We only define that we pay an assistant manager around this figure to this figure. For instance, we pay an assistant manager around 50,000 to 70,000. There is a range. So we are not open towards our compensation plans. Moving forward, market compatibility. Okay, just a minute, I have to take this call. So so the second compensation issue while designing the compensation system is to ensure the market competitiveness of the compensation. So you have to ensure what kind of policy you are actually following, whether you are going to meet the market. Okay, you are going to pay your employees whatever the market is actually paying to other employees in other organizations. That is referred generally what we refer as market compatibility. You are actually meeting the market's requirements. The second point is to lag the market. That means you are paying a little bit less than the market is actually paying your other employees in other organizations. So you are actually paying less as compared to other companies. Then another thing is, if you are a market leader, if you are having a very good financial standing, financial footing, you have very good profit, then you will think about a strategy that is going to set you a competitive space for your organization. And this strategy is referred as what? Lead the market. You are becoming the leader of the market. The pays are very much high. In terms of salaries, your salaries will be high. In terms of benefits and other incentives will be very much high that any other organization would think about paying it. You are actually leading the market. You are the leader in the market in terms of the pays and compensation. So these are the different strategies that actually different companies follow. So, okay, the compensation quotient strategies. Okay, these strategies are generally applied to various manufacturing facilities or selling organizations, sales organizations. For instance, Unilever, P&G, Nestle, these companies are basically FMCG, fast moving consumer goods products companies. Therefore, they have this policy of quartiles that is related to compensation. Now, there are basically three quartiles. You must be studying quartiles in statistical inference and business statistics as well. So, we are going to study the quartile study. What is the quartile strategy? Okay, the third quartile is basically referred as above the market strategy. Now, above the market strategy, what we do here is it explains that employer position itself or position its pay scales that are 25% of other firms pay above. That means 25% of the companies pay more than you, and 75% of the companies actually pay less than you are paying to your employees. For instance, if I am paying an assistant manager around 50,000, that means 75% of other organizations or other in different other organizations would be paying less than 50,000, and 25% of the organization's market will be paying more than you are paying, more than I am paying to my employees. That means someone would be paying 55 or 60 or 57 or 52, whatever the case is. Okay, then comes the second quartile, that is middle market strategy. You are actually neither leading the market, neither you are lagging the market, nor you are actually meeting the market requirement. So you are actually paying 50% above the market than the market is paying. For instance, we have this policy of second quintile middle market strategy at Sukkur University. There are certain employees that come at our company on a bargaining position, and we pay them above the market because we need their services desperately. Therefore, we pay them more than other organizations or even the market leaders are paying to those employees. And we pay 50% less to our employees, or the 50% of the companies are paying less than we are actually paying to our employees, and 50% are paying more to employees. We are lying in the middle somewhere. The first quartile is below the market. That means 75% of other employers actually position their salaries above than we are, and 25% of the companies pay below than we are paying to our employees. I hope you understood this concept. Moving forward, the competency based pay designing issue. Okay, Ji, now you would be saying competency based pay systems. There are two kinds of competency based systems. What kind of competency? One competency is the knowledge, that is knowledge based pay, KBP, that is knowledge based pay, and another is the skill based pay. Okay, Ji. Generally, we pay more to skill based plans in skill based plans because skills are more important and it is required by the organization and it is acquired by a couple of people. Not everybody is skilled in certain kind of duties or certain kinds of jobs. So what you are going to do in competency based systems, you are going to identification of the required competencies for your organization, whether you are a knowledge based company or a skill based company. What kind of, if you are a manufacturing company, so obviously you don't need knowledge based company, you would need skill based employees. The employees are required that are skilled. Okay, ji. Knowledge-based employees are only handle those skill-based employees. These can be the managers, these can be the supervisors, but skilled labor would be involved in actual operations. Progression and the compensation of the employees. You have to ensure how many of employees are going to get promoted and how you are going to plan their compensation. Limitations on who can acquire more competencies. You have to ensure how many trainings a person should get, who is more efficient, who should be given the right, who is more reliable employee for the organization. You have to set the limitations. You have to set the criteria for selection of the employees who are going to get competencies or who are going to get training for different competencies. Training in the appropriate competencies. You have to ensure again that you train your employees for specific competencies. Certification and maintenance of the competencies, again, you have to ensure all these things. Okay, moving forward, compensation system designing issues. So we have certain compensation plans that are individual plans and certain are team based plans. Okay, generally we have problems when we are dealing with teams or groups. So team based or group based plans, compensation plans are often really difficult, and individuals within the teams satisfying them is really a very tough job. How to develop compensation programs to build on the team concepts. So you have to ensure that you actually develop such a kind of a plan for a team that actually motivates them. Okay, Ji. Generally we have seen in various different organizations which actually focuses or much puts more emphasis on teamwork and group think. Generally what they do, what managers do, They actually define a certain percentage of share in profit that we are going to give you 40% of overall whatever the profit will give, whatever the profit will be actually realized after this project is completed. Say for instance, this project is of 1 lakh rupees and the company actually completed it and company earned 1 lakh rupees as a profit apart from your expenses. So 40% was entitled to be given to a team or a group. Now it's up to the team how they are going to divide this 40%. This would be depending upon either on the team leader or it would be depending upon the mutual understanding of the team or group members. They will decide who will get who what share, or either it will be dependent upon how difficult a person, a group member's job was. The difficulty or toughness of a duty of a skill of a group member will define his share, his or her share. Individuals, how to compensate individual whose performance may also be evaluated on team achievements. So you have to ensure if you are actually working on teams or individuals. So there are various different kinds of methods that actually are involved. So compensation issues, there are many compensation issues. The third, the next compensation issue that we shall be talking about is that when employees actually get transferred to another country. So what kind of global approach, global compensation approach you should consider before designing any compensation plan for an organization? Say, for instance, you are working in a multinational company in compensation. So you have been assigned a task to design a compensation plan for that company. So we shall be meeting in our next meeting on this global compensation systems and how to design compensation plans for those who are working or actually going to get promotion and they are going to get transferred to any another country. So how you will compensate those employees. For now, this is Masroor Soomro signing off. We shall meet in our next meeting on global compensation system. Thank you very much. Take good care of yourself in this COVID-19 wave 2. Sign Allah Hafiz. Fi Aman.